Hey, everybody, it's Brett. And say hi to my friend Kate. We're here for another episode of Orna's Garden, where we channel Orna, who's an Arcturian, 10,000-year-old light energy being, and then Kate channels Creator, who is the source of all that is. It's going to be a fascinating conversation because our beings are going to talk about what 2025 is going to be like. And let me introduce Kate. How you doing, Kate?
I'm good. This is going to be an exciting episode. I already feel, I know there's like a lot of like kind of, everyone gets the 2025 predictions, the fear, the doom, the gloom, but I can already feel that there's going to be some more personal themes that are happening for everybody, but I feel like the overarching theme, I think we're in for some interesting, if not good news on this.
All righty then. Well, why don't we get to channeling? And does Creator want to start, or do you want Orna to start?
Oh, we'll let Orna take the floor.
All right, let's get her going. Greetings. I am Orna. I am pleased to be with Kate, Brett, and Creator again today. And we're discussing the outlook for the human year of 2025. And I just want to say at the outset, light workers, you're going to have a magnificent year of being in service to others and to yourself in ways that are going to bring you pure joy, happiness, satisfaction, a sense of fulfilling your purpose in a way that perhaps you've never experienced before. There's a lot of beautiful things coming in 2025. There are some undoubtedly chaotic things that will occur as well, but they will be serving a purpose because many institutions, establishments are crumbling and are going to basically obliterate themselves out of existence because they no longer serve the collective. They no longer serve the smaller communities nor the total community. The year 2025 is going to be a year of great growth for those concentrating on spirit and love. Love, of course, is the ultimate universal tool, as has been stated before and will be stated constantly. But 2025 is going to be a beautiful experience for all who live it. When the chaos begins to occur and you recognize it, do not succumb to fear. Just observe and look at the ways what replaces what the chaos destroys. Look at the ways the replacements are created. They will be created to serve humanity, not to serve a small handful of humans who then control and manipulate in order to maintain their hold on power and control. The new establishments, the new institutions will be present to serve all of humanity for humanity's highest possible good instead of the good of the manipulators and those who've been controlling humanity for far too long. 2025 is going to be a very beautifully liberating year for humans to experience and thrive in. Sure, there'll be more to say about 2025, but let's hear what Creator has to say about 2025.
Looking at 2025, there's a couple, the very first thing we have to bring, and we know that many of you that are on this podcast have heard this time and time again, but perhaps how we frame it in this way will help the concept sink in a bit more readily than it has before. When you are looking at what when you are watching what you see as the global collapse of the world, the global collapse of the system, we want to remind you that everything that you are experiencing is an external reflection of what is within. And so many of you are experiencing a completely different reality with each other. One of you may be experiencing the collapse of a financial system. We would tell you that that is a reflection of your current thoughts and beliefs on security, on nourishment, on life, on the difference between survival and thriving. Many of you will be watching cataclysmic events happen with the weather. You guys will be experiencing loved ones, and you will feel like the world is ending. And that would be a reflection within of why do you believe that you are not in control of your own life? So while you're watching the external fall of your reality, please know that what this truly is an external fall of the beliefs that are not serving you and that are holding you hostage in a pattern that your soul is continually asking to be removed from. Your soul does not want to do things within the current paradigm and system. It doesn't want to have this experience. It's asking to have an experience that is more what many of you guys would call the 5D reality, or that fifth dimensional love, peace, and alignment. What is happening is your own internal structures are shifting. Many of you will be experiencing a lot of physical things that are going wrong, so much so that you can't even focus on what's happening in the external world around you, because your actual physical body is getting its own upgrade. Now, there is a way to make this less cataclysmic for yourself and for your physical body and for all of the parts of yourself that are involved in this natural progression of the expansion of your soul. The main thing is resistance. Where there is resistance, there you will find the belief that is hidden, that is what is asking to be alchemized so that you may have that delightful life, that delightful, all of the good things that you are calling in, all of the things you are praying for, all the things that you are asking for, comes with looking at where is your resistance when these structures fall. Be very honest with yourself where the resistance really is. For example, there are many of you that are experiencing a genocide in your reality. There are many of you that are watching this happen in other parts of the world. There are many of you that are repeatedly asking, like, why? Like, when is this going to end? And we ask you to look at where your resistance lies in the experience of this. we already know that we can already feel that many of you are about to turn this podcast off and sort of are going with the very first thought of, oh, like, of course, like there's resistance, like people are dying, but we're asking you to go deeper because this experience is highlighting probably a belief that you are not wanting to look at. Maybe it's your belief of not having control, maybe of your own life, of your own destiny. Maybe it's your belief of not being able of not having the power, because if you did, you would be able to stop this. Maybe it's your belief of a longing to also be to no longer be here because your soul is tired and all it has known is grief and it's ready to be done. The resistance to those deeper things, those deeper beliefs that are being held in you, is why these systems are collapsing. They're asking you to flow into the alchemization of those beliefs. It's asking you to flow into the fear. Do not resist the fear, go into it. There is a lot to be learned that you guys have been resisting this entire lifetime, which is why now your entire being is attracting on a cataclysmic scale to ask you to look in and clear the things that are no longer serving you so that you may be able to accept the things that you are asking for. When we look at those that are able to lean into and ask questions of their resistance in the areas of the reality, they're able to flow much quicker. The faster you are able to identify your resistance and lean into that and be back into flow, you will have a very peaceful and prosperous 2025, because we are already, as the collective, we are already starting to see you guys move into the quantum existence where you are able to very much quicker create the reality that you're existing. You are removing the veil between you and the creation that you are currently living in at all times. You guys will be more aware of your co-creation process. You will be aware of the elements in which you exist in this extension of yourself that you are experiencing. What you are experiencing now is those veils are coming down. Everything that has been keeping you in illusion around what you are, around the power you have, around the co-creation process, and the absolute control that you have. We'd also like to speak to the co-creation process, as we know that using that term creates a split between the divine and you. And we also know that Kate also struggles with this one of like, well, if I am the creation of all that is, which you are, then how am I co-creating? And that is another element of 2025, is that you guys will begin to realize the illusion around the co-creation process is actually the acceptance of being in oneness with yourself and all of the parts of yourself that you have splintered off and left in different places. You will be calling all of those parts back to yourself so you can experience the complete oneness of yourself in the essence of who and what you really are, the power you actually hold. That co-creation process is a bridge for you guys to understand and draw in all of the elements of yourself that you have been ignoring, that you do not know yet, or that you have been splintered off from. This year is the year when those things, those elements start alchemizing and coming into a complete and full picture. And many of you will be experiencing that this year and through the next.
Beautifully said, Creator. I would add, it's going to be as if, as I and Brett heard Bashar explained this recently. It'll be as if two trains are leaving from the same train station, but moving in different directions. As 2025 progresses, you're going to find that your own creative abilities are going to grow, and you're going to feel the desire to create, whether it's through a new business, thinking of a new plan for your future, financial issues that you're creating for a new business, for your family's best interest, etc. You're going to have a much easier time with your creations than those who are on the train that keeps them in the 3D world. For those who are desiring to move to the 5D, you're going to find your creative juices are going to be growing and expanding, and you're going to start looking at things very differently from your previous creative process. For as we move into the 5D, humans will be growing spiritually, emotionally, intellectually, and they'll be improving their physiological state. For the old lies about eating inflammatory materials are no longer having an effect. This is part of the wondrous goodness that's coming for those who serve the good of the collective, who are concerned about the well-being of humans, not themselves. Being of service is going to become a human badge of honor. And the creativity that's going to be born of that is going to be exciting and beautiful. And for some, it's going to be the fulfillment of their purpose in this current incarnation. When the chaos occurs, when the cataclysmic events take place, it's important to observe. It's important to keep yourself and your loved ones safe. But it's not the end of anything, but the beginning of enormous newness. New ways of thinking, new ways of looking at issues, problems, with solutions that don't just serve a corporation, that don't just serve a government entity, but actually serves the collective of humanity for humanity's interests. The days of corruption are coming to a close. This is beautiful news that I, Orna, am excited and happy to share. There will be fear, for many new things will be observed. But as Creator rightly said, enter into that fear and come to understand what you're seeing and observing is new. It's a new opportunity for you to discover exactly what the reality you want and desire to create will be, and you will better be able to bring these desires, these wants, these needs into the reality that serves you, that serves your loved ones, that serves your community, that serves the greater collective of the human species. Trust that you are capable, that you are tough, that you are intelligent, and that you have an enormous heart full of love to share. Remember the power of love. As 2025 unfolds, you will see love in ways you never imagined before. Embrace the possibilities. And I will close my part of this discussion by saying, we will always be here for you. We will always be here to serve. We will always be here to love and guide. Be at peace and live your highest, best possible good with a song in your heart. Creator, you have some final thoughts?
Yes, we'd like to jump further on what you are speaking about love. And we would like to remind everyone that you are not, the way that this has been framed is that you are moving into the 5D as if that is the destination that you guys have not been before, and that is a thing that you are not. And we would like to reframe this as you are not moving into, it is a matter of you are accepting and allowing yourselves to be in a 5D level, which is what you have always had and where you have always been. So even going off of Bashar's train in the station, many of you guys are thinking of that as there are a group of people on one train and then there's a group of people on this train, and you're thinking of physical people and that train being a split of those who can go and those who cannot. That is coming from a deeply ingrained religious rhetoric of like, there's heaven and there's hell, there's some people that make it, there's some people don't. But to expand on that visual that you all have, and we'd actually like to download this if you accept, the train that is leaving the station that is separate from you is not full of people. It is full of all of the illusions that you hold of separation. There are no people on that train that are leaving. It is merely the illusion of there being separation. So when you hear that, when you hear things like that, really look into the story and the narrative that you are giving that. All of these things that you create in your mind are deeper investigations of where and why your reality is what it is. So if you look at the trains that are splitting and you're seeing people on that train, then it's very important that you ask yourself, why do I see people on that train? What belief is, like, this is the level of questioning that 2025 is going to force you to do. This is the level of resistance that will keep showing up in every aspect of your life until you turn fear into curiosity and ask the question of, why am I creating this? Why am I doing it the hard way? Why am I not allowing and accepting love? Why am I not allowing and accepting ease? Why do I insist on everything being painful and difficult? Why do I insist on making my life very hard to access? Why do I insist on a poverty cycle? Why do I insist on doing things that I hate doing? Why do I feel like I need to pay penance? These are all questions that are coming through for many of you that are listening to this podcast. And this allowance of what has always been yours, what has always been ready for you to accept, is what is happening when you are watching the world sort of fall apart in the way that you believe it's falling apart. But then we ask you, if you're watching the world fall apart, ask yourself, why do I need destruction to renew myself? That is a belief. Why do I need to go through a cataclysmic event to understand things? That is a belief that could easily be alchemized to, I understand things through peace, joy, and curiosity. I'm allowed to live a life of joy without the need for pain to be the highlight of where my joy is. You can release yourself the obligation of learning forgiveness through being hurt, pained, traumatized, and violated. You can choose instead to learn forgiveness from its true nature, which is love. You can choose to allow and accept the 5D that you're already in, that has been your birthright. You can allow and accept that without needing to watch the complete collapse of the world around you. This is the level of belief digging that is required, because these are the patterns that you continually observe. And if you observe them, they are being created from more places than your mind. And this is another thing when we talk about co-creation, is clearing the illusion that your mind is the only thing that is propelling you forward. There are very few, and most of them are known as the star seeds or the light workers. And they are merely the people who understand that there is more to themselves than their thoughts. They understand they have an energy field. They are in touch with that energy field. They understand that they are a physical body, and that their cells are observing in their own frequency. They understand that there are no mistakes in their structure, that every organ has its own way of creating what you experience. These are people that have merely cleared the illusion that the only thing keeping them here is their mind. They are tapped into their higher selves. They are tapped into their soul. They are tapped into their body. They are tapped into their auric fields. They are tapped into the frequencies. So the train that is leaving the station, and the separation point is your separation from the illusions that you're holding, that you are merely a mind, that you are merely a human, that this is your only existence. So when those illusions leave, sometimes to get the train to even start to leave the platform, it requires a deep examination of even the acceptance that you are a creator, that you are source, that you are not separate, from anything in this universe. And those are the illusions, and your experience is expanding beyond those illusions of which you have been experiencing your reality for millennia. But this is a good thing. And the ease and the delight and the joy and the abundance and the prosperity that that is available to you, not just this year, that has been available to you at any second, at any moment, is merely your ability to clear those illusions and step into what you really are, and to step into and recognize that you are not and never have been in separation. But in order for the mind and the experience you currently are locked in to understand this, it many times manifests physically, which is why you think that the world is ending. But that is only your observation, and you can at any point change that observation. that is the level of power you hold. Imagine when you realize why you are observing a reality of genocide, why are you observing a reality of poverty, why are you observing a reality of global destruction and collapse. When you answer that question, you alchemize your observation in your soul, in your chakras, in your auric field on a cellular level, in your mind, in your entire subconscious, and within the most immediate moment, you no longer observe that in your reality. It no longer exists. What exists is love, peace, harmony, and these other things that you want to be observing. So lean into that resistance, lean into that fear, learn from it. Do not keep resisting the fear. Do not keep resisting the quote unquote negative emotions that you have been taught are wrong. Those are your teachers. They are here to teach you what needs to go to bring in what you are repeatedly asking for. 2025 is in this moment, it feels like 2025 is the year. But all of these years have always been the same. You have always had access. This year makes no difference. There's just collectively enough souls now that are mirroring and moving towards this that make this feel like this is the event. But this has always been available to you. It's available at any second. It does not need, you do not need to wait on planets. You do not need to wait on specific time portals. You do not need to wait on signs. You need to go within. Everything you are creating is always from within. And we'll close with that. But agreeing with Orna, there is always help. There is always those in service. And there is always everything that you ask for is always available to you. So keep asking. If you need help on this journey, keep asking. The people will find you. The healings will find you. The messages will find you, because there's a part of you that is creating them. There's a part of you that knows this is coming and is creating those for you. Trust that part of you. Trust the part of you that you've been keeping quiet for so long, that has been trying with all its effort to lead you out of this. Find that voice within and follow it, and do not lose sight of it as you're moving forward on this journey of allowing an acceptance of who you really are and what you really are and the power that you really hold. And we will close with that.
Thank you, Creator. Thank you all for watching this podcast episode. I am Orna. On behalf of Brett, Kate, and Creator, I wish you all a beautiful day. Until the next time, be at peace and farewell.
That's so interesting. When it was showing the two trains leaving the platform, Creator was just showing me that one was almost like a ghost train. Like I was like, oh, and it was like, here's this train, and then Creator was like, this is just the illusion. Like it's all, no one's leaving nothing. You're observing, like Creator, Creator, like it was interesting because it was showing, it was like, you guys think that, like, because you guys are in this historical timeline situation, that like it's like this and then this and then this. And then Creator is like, it's all being observed every minute. Like there's no time and space. Everything that you're doing is you're just observing it constantly. And it's like the illusion that you are separate. The illusion, that's what's the other train. Like it's not even, I was like, oh,
Keep in mind,
like what?
I don't know what Orna said, and I don't know what Creator said.
Oh,
I don't have the context to put in what you said or say, telling me into something I can understand. Except I know it's important to you. I don't know what.
well, Orna was mentioning Bashar and the two trains leaving the station.
Oh, okay.
And Creator showed me that and was like, is like, people are thinking this means that people are going to get left behind, or that like there's those that, And creator's like, no, this is an internal thing. And then it showed that like two trains leaving the station, it's like the 3D that you're leaving is the illusion that you're separate. And then it even went into like even not just the separation 3D, but like the separation between you and your higher self. Like the separation between you and like your soul, the separate it just showed that like all of these right now, like we're split. It's like you have to meditate to access your higher self. You have to meditate to access creators. Like that's an illusion.
Now
Those,
you can access your higher self anytime.
yeah, no,
And
yeah,
not
that's
in the
what,
beginning. And in the beginning, you don't even know what a higher
yeah,
self is.
yeah. So that was like, and then creators talking about like the 5D, you're not moving into it. You're allowing and accepting what's always been there for you. That's all this is. And it's like, but this illusion has kept everybody separated from the possibility of being. And so it's like that's what's moving away in 2025. But then also it was addressing like the beliefs that make you think it has to be cataclysmic, the belief that makes you think it has to be like, oh my God, like the world's, he's like, that's a belief. It doesn't need to be
It's
that hard.
true. That's true.
So it was interesting because I've heard Bashar say that, and I was at one of the conferences where he spoke about that, and it but when creator was showing that, because I always was like, oh no, like some people will make it, some people won't, and then creator's like, oh no, that's your own train. Like that's your own train. Like
See, the way I kind of always looked at this ascension stuff and going to 5D and the planet and everything, it reminded me, it's always reminded me of that bit in Revelations and different places. To me, Revelation is just one big metaphor.
yeah, yeah,
Just one big metaphor. But I could make it make sense, where some people, light workers in general, just in general, not all specifically, but they're going to gravitate more to the 5D way of living and thinking, etc. And those who are ignorant and unaware, who have never been taught and whatnot, they're going to continue living in the 3D. That's because that's what they believe. That's all there is.
but even creator is saying if you have people like that in your life,
Mm-hmm.
why are you observing a reality where you have people like that in your life?
Some of them are blood relatives.
But even say like that was creator was really going into like the depth that people
mm-hmm.
are going to be asked to dig to what they're holding on to.
Sure.
Because it's like even looking at what the attachment to relatives, like what's holding, like that was like it was like but basically creator is like right now like you're having a hard time accessing even the ability to be like, and I mean he like they went right into it. They were like going like genocide, for instance. If you're watching genocide in your reality, like you have to ask, why are you observing that?
Seriously.
Like why is that? What is, because so and so is not experiencing a reality where that's the everyday. You are. So why is that? Where's your resistance to it? What are your emotions about it? You know what's interesting? I saw, I wish I could give credit because it was a,
We're still recording, right?
oh yeah, which is good. I think this is,
Okay. I think it is too.
they
That's why
were,
I'm letting you go on.
because the depth, okay, sometimes I wish we could just video feed like what's being shown like in the channel, because it was really going in. In fact, I saw a lady the other day that was talking about, she was like, the like feels like the world is ending. And then someone was like, no, but what are you really feeling? And she's like, that the world is ending. And they're like, no, that's just you saying that. What are you really feeling? And she's like, well, I feel sadness because I can't change anything. That right there is a belief. I can't change anything. So you're
And it's a
repeating.
choice. It's a choice to maintain that belief also.
Yes. So then when you go, I can't change anything, you go, why is it safer and better for me to not be able to change anything? And then you got to go a little deeper and go, oh, because last time I changed something, this happened. Like, so creator is just basically going like these things that you're seeing and the things that you have resistance to in your life, that is where you're holding an illusion. And that is what is keeping you from, quote unquote, allowing and accepting the 5D reality. That is when you were talking about like the 3D people, in your life. And this is where, like, this is what it was showing me. It's like, it was almost like, here's what you're observing. And so many times it was just showing me in my life where, like, if I have a problematic person in my life and they don't go away and I'm having to deal with it repeatedly, the moment I stop and I go, okay, but what am I learning from this? Like, why, like, this is telling me something about myself. And then I learn that, I kid you not, by the next day, that person is gone and never seen again. And or they change because they can't be on the frequency once I learn what I'm supposed to learn. They either have to change or move. And so that, even like going to the train metaphor, creator was like, that's not just a 2025 thing. You guys have been experiencing that this whole time. It's when you observe your reality different, the other train leaves the station. It's no longer in your reality. When you observe differently, but then it went into observation of like, it's not just the mind observing, it's the organs in your body, it's your auric field. It's, which I think is interesting because I believe next week we're going into chakras and what that really means. Like what,
Sweet.
because that gets into, creator was moving into, this is what is observing what you experience.
So you heard it right here first.
Anyway.
Next episode is going to deal with the chakras.
Jump in. That one's going to be a good one, you guys. That's one that I've been getting schooled on with creator the last couple months. So I'm very excited for that episode.
Thank you all for watching. Have a beautiful day. Be at peace with yourself. Love yourself. And we'll see you the next time in Orna's Garden. Take care, everybody. Got the button. There it is.